It was 100 degrees as we sat beneath a willow tree whose tears did.
Hey YouTube, it's Joanne again. It is Monday, August 11th, and today I want to talk about planning and avoiding the common pitfalls of bad planning because I am looking for results in my life, and I'm sure many of you are as well in different areas. So I'm hoping the information that I'm sharing not only will help you, but will help me. I've mentioned a couple of times in the previous videos that my life is very much up in the air right now in a lot of different arenas. And one of them is work. I'm kind of stuck between wanting to leave my job but not being able to. And I need to figure out the best way to make these steps so that I can eventually leave my job and start a career or start to do something that is a lot more meaningful and fulfilling and uses my gifts and talents. So the title is Our Plans and Why God Laughs. And I want to first make sure that I clarify that there's kind of a common misconception that to be a Christian means to not plan, not do anything. You just kind of sit back and just wait for God to drop your life into your lap. And that's not the way it works. There are plenty of places in the Bible where we're called to take action and to take a first step and to go after what we're looking for and what we need. So I just want to clarify that. But there are definitely ways to plan poorly and ways to plan well. And I want to just talk about the three ways that we plan poorly and God laughs. So the first way is that we don't consult God or other people about our plans. We think we know what we want. We think we know exactly how to go about getting it. And we are not open to hearing anybody else's opinion or advice. Or if we hear it, we just kind of let it go through one ear and out the other. And maybe that's a little bit of pride that motivates that kind of thinking. But the person who consults many people is going to have a plan that succeeds. You can find that in Proverbs 15:22. And I love the chapter of Proverbs, or the book of Proverbs, because it's full of so many awesome, wise insights into life in all different aspects of life. So that's a great place to start if you're kind of unfamiliar with the Bible or you kind of think there's no real place to start. Proverbs is a great place. But it says that plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. And I've learned this in my own life. I do event planning from time to time. And for my very first fundraising event, I realized how true that statement is. I found that without my even looking for advice, I would just tell people what I was doing. People would offer up advice and they would tell me things and have ideas that I would have never thought of. And so that's awesome. It's awesome to be able to share ideas and bounce your ideas and your plans off of other people because oftentimes you're going to get a perspective that you would have never had on your own. And obviously, consulting God makes sense because he knows how things work and he knows how things are going to pan out. So why not talk to him and be like, hey, man, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to leave my job. I don't know where to go next. I know that I have certain skills. I know I have certain things that I like and certain things I don't like. Where can I be used that's going to make me the most happy and the most fulfilled and the most useful? And he'll have those answers for you. You just gotta have the faith that he will answer. So that's the first way that we plan poorly, is that we don't share our ideas with anybody else. The second way that we plan poorly is that we can maybe tend to become too rigid with control. Especially if it's something that's important, like my desire to leave my job. That's a big deal. It's going to be my livelihood. Where I work is going to be where I spend most of my life. And so it's important that this next decision is the right one and that I don't waste any more time in the wrong place. And when there's a lot of weight in the plan, we can have the tendency to want to control it so that it goes just right and that it doesn't get messed up, and so we can become rigid. And I've had this idea of being like bamboo. That's kind of been my focus this year, is to be like bamboo, because if you think about the attributes of bamboo, there are lots of them, but the most common and most recognizable one is that it's very strong. Bamboo is a very, 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 very strong material, but it's also very flexible. It doesn't break easily. If you smack it up against a tree trunk or you smack it on the ground, it's going to move and shift its properties so that it stays intact. And so when I realized that, it was really like an aha moment, because it was like, wow, bamboo is very strong, but it's not strong because it's rigid. It's strong because it's flexible. And so I want to apply that to all areas of my life, including where I end up for work. So I know that I have a certain idea. I have loose ideas about where I want to be and where I don't want to be. But I also know that I have to be open and flexible to where I might end up, because it may not look like I'm heading where I want to, but I have to remember that I'm not in control of most of the things. I'm only in control of the actions I take and my reactions to other people. But I can't control the results of my actions, and I can't control other people's actions. So it's important to remember that. And Proverbs 16:3 states that if I commit whatever I do to the Lord, He'll establish my plans. And that means that as long as I trust that the end result and the journey to get to that end result is in His hands, and that He'll guide me properly, He's going to make sure that my plans go well, and that they succeed, and that they're fruitful. So that's definitely what I want. And so I have to remember to not try to hold on tight, because once I hold on too tight, that's when everything crumbles. And the last way that we plan poorly and make God laugh is that we expect things to go a specific and certain way. I expect that, okay, in order for me to get from point A to point B, I have to do this, this, and this. I'm going to do this, and then this is going to happen. And then once that happens, I'm going to do this. And then once I do that, that's going to happen. And really, when you think about it, it's pretty illogical, because we're not psychic, and we can't control other people. And I can control my first step, but I can't control how other people are going to react to it. And I can try all I want to force myself through a certain door, but if that's not the door to be going through, then I'm going to be met with resistance that is going to eventually tire me out and discourage me. Now, that's not to say that there aren't going to be challenges along the way. There will be challenges, but there's a difference between having obstacles and challenges to overcome and trying to beat your head against a rock that's not going to move. So, and again, I can't predict what will be what. So I have to trust that as long as I'm consulting other people, as long as I'm open to other people's advice, and also as long as I remember to be humble enough to remember that I'm not in control of other people, and I'm not in control of my circumstances, and as long as I can trust that God has my plans in His hands, and like what Proverbs 16:9 says is that in a man's heart, he makes plans, but it's the Lord who establishes his steps. And what that means is that I come to God with a plan, and I say, if this is your will for this to happen, I need a job, God. I need a job that's going to be helpful to other people, and where I am right now is not that job. But I don't know how to get to that job. So I'm trusting you to do all the heavy lifting. I'm going to take initiative, but you're going to be the one to direct me exactly where to go. And I think that if all those things are remembered, there will be success every single time. And I want a 100% success rate. I don't know about you, but I want a 100% success rate when it comes to important life decisions like work. And so I'm going to try to remember these things, and I'm going to focus on these steps, not being too rigid, not being shut off to other people's advice, and not expecting things to look exactly the way that I want. And I trust that by doing those things and keeping those things in mind, I will end up at just the right job for me, where I can be used fully, and that my gifts can be appreciated and can be fruitful, which means have results, have lasting results, because I want lasting results. And and by standing on this faith, I can just trust that things will go well. Because James chapter 1 verses 6-7 talks about being double-minded, and when you don't have faith, it makes your ways unstable. And when your ways are unstable and when you're unstable, you don't get any real results in your life. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to put these into practice, and over the coming weeks and months, hopefully we're going to see some good results. I trust that we will. Again, subscribe to my channel. If you like this material, please leave comments. I'm lonely out there. Let's talk, let's have a discussion, let's bounce some things off of each other. And let's have a discussion. So have a great day, and I will see you again.
They just hung in